Hello everybody, welcome to this exciting episode of Bob the Sign Man. I decided to do a little series on Flexi. By all means, I've said before in the previous videos, I'm no expert at it. I've been using it for about a year now, and I've been doing pretty good with it. So I thought I'd share a couple little, anybody who's beginning with it, kind of a little entry-level stuff on how it works and what you can and can't do with it. So here's my Flexi. I think it's Flexi 12 that we're using. Flexi has different programs where you can buy a certain pace so much a month and you get all the upgrades and stuff. But for traffic signs, for what I do, or if you're just in the traffic sign making business like I am, not so much business because I work for a county and we don't make for the public, sell to the public, we make for our right-of-ways and stuff like that. So anyways, it can be a little intimidating when you first see it and you see all these controls up here and you're like, oh my goodness. To tell you the truth, I don't know what most of them do. Let's just start with the basic shapes tool. Over here's your basic shape tool. And here's a ruler grid laid out. Here's your 0. And each one of these, see that's 4, so that'd be 4 inches. So that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, like that. And then you can change the grid however you want. See how it makes it bigger? Now that's 1, 2, 3, 4 inch there. So, let's leave it right around here. It should be pretty good for what we're going to do. What I like to do before I even start is I snap out I bring these control lines over and I'll zero them out to 0 and 0. So there's my, kind of like the center of my page right there. So let's say we want to make I showed you in a couple previous videos how we use that sign book to make some signs, but you don't always need the sign book. Suppose we want to make the speed limit. Let's make a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. And we're going to make it 24 by 30 because that's about the standard size that we use on our roads here. So it is a 24 by 30 and it has right here it's showing a 1.5 inch border. So around here, so let's go ahead and use that. This is a PDF file that I got from, you can get them from federal highway sites, or I got this I think from the California MUTCD. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out the 24 by 30. Here's our shape tool. What we're going to do, you hold down on the left side of your mouse and then it brings up all these shapes. We're just going to do a rectangle for now, and we're just going to kind of drag it out right here, kind of where it should be. And as you see, as soon as you do that, go ahead and click back and get your select tool. So here's your outside of your blank. Okay, if you just see how it's red now, because if you click on it, it'll highlight it. And if it's not, it's black. So what I do, you can make the wireframes different colors. You can make it a solid color or the wireframe. I choose to make the wireframe to start with, but if you're making a yellow sign or a green sign, see how it'll turn to green. But for right now, we're just going to do this black. Okay, so this is going to represent our sign blank right here. So what I want to do is I want to make a 24 by 30 with a 1.5 inch border. So you can see the tool that goes across ways. So we're going to change that to 24. Let me bring these a little bit closer so it'll be easier to watch. And then we're going to go 30 inches high and just hit your enter key. Now it's kind of way off the page. It's awful big. So just hold down on your control and scroll down until it gets to a manageable size. And then we're going to go ahead and just bring that back over. You got your slide tool here and then you have one up here. Or you can just hold down on the shift key and scroll and it'll move. Control key will make it bigger and smaller. So now we got the 24 by 30, but we want to get that radius set up. So we're going to go to this, we still have it selected, so we're going to go to this. And that's going to be rounded, or if you wanted it square, inverted, shift, whatever. I usually just use the rounded and the regular. So it's going to be rounded, and then right here is where we're going to put in our radius. It's going to be 1.50. We'll hit the enter. Now it's changed the sign blank to so here's the 24 by 30. And right here it's rounded with a 1.5 inch radius corners, okay? So this Design Central tool I use a lot, and you can find it, I think it's this one right here. See up here where my mouse is? So you click that. I always use that one and this one too. It for making the different colors and changing a wireframe and stuff like that. So now, since we got our sign blank, so this represents your sign blank. So let's go ahead and add a border to that. So we're going to come up here to the effects, and we're going to do an outline on it. In our outline, it shows us the width of the border, and then it shows us the offset. So it's WO. So we want to go inline, and we're going to go to black. And we're going to go, the borders on our sign show 24 by 30. So it shows a 3.75. This represents this right here, the C, and then the D is the thickness of the border, which is going to be 0.625. Okay. I'll slide this out of the way because every time I press on the desktop, it's going to disappear. So we're pretty much set up here. We've got 6.25 and then 3.75. I think it's set up because I used that last time. So that's all set up, and we're going to do the wireframe again. And let's not do the wireframe. Let's just go ahead and put the black border in. Well, let's back up. Before you do that, we have it set up. Now we want to click the OK. Okay. So now make sure you click the OK or the apply button. Now we'll click out of that. Now we have our border and our sign blank. So the outside edge is a sign blank. This is the border. So we want to separate all these to start with because eventually when we go to send this off to the cutter, if you send it off to the cutter like this, what's going to happen? It's going to cut out the outside sign blank, and we don't want to do that. Okay. So right away, what I usually will do is I'll come in here and I'll separate the outline. Okay. So now the outline is separated. See how it highlights it red? And now it's highlighted red there. So they're separated. So basically what we've done is we've stacked the border on top of the sign blank. Now we want to add in the 50. Okay. So the 50 is on the 24 by 30. It's going to be a 10-inch Series E letter. Okay, so we're just going to come up, click the text tool, and we're going to come up. That was a Series E, I believe it was. Let's go back and look. Sometimes I forget. It's 24 by 30, 10-inch Series E, which is represented by H, which is this right here. See where it says H? So you look up H, and then you cross-reference to your 24 by 30. So it's a 10-inch Series E. So we're going to come up here to the. We use the T2000 HW or T2000 highway, and then we want the Series E. Okay, and then this is going to be 10-inch. See where it says 10-inch? This is the size of your letter. See how it stays up, and we want 100% of the letter to show all the whole letter. Anyways, that's set at 100% as like default, I guess. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to type in our 50. Which we selected up here under the text tool. Once you're done with that, go ahead back to your select tool. It's highlighted, and what I like to do is so you can change it to by clicking the wireframe here. I like to leave it for a wireframe here for a second until I get set up here. Now, as you can see, to place that 50, it's telling us that so here's the 50, and it has these H's here, and it says optically space about center line. So they're telling you just use your eyes, your judgment, or whatever, and get it focused there. So from the bottom of the sign to here, see this little reference here, E? See how it shows to the bottom of the sign to here? So E is showing us 4 inches, okay? Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to get this sign blank on this line here. So I'm going to highlight all those together, and I'm going to use this little group tool. See how they're all grouped together? I know last time we separated the outlines. Now we're going to group them all back together. So you can use this tool to group and ungroup. So this groups and then this ungroups. See where it says group and ungroup? So anyways, they're grouped together now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this line. See how the little you can see the little white box showed up. Now if I click off of it, see how it doesn't show up. Now if I click it again, it shows up there. Hold down on your shift key, touch this, and now what I want to do is I'm going to bring this whole thing up to that line with these little tools over here, and I'll hit this and see where it says bottom. You just hit your bottom, and now what it did Is it lined up the sign blank to the bottom there? Perfect. So I'm on my 0-inch line right here, so I can come up and measure the 4 inches that I needed right here on E. Okay, see where E is? 24 by 30. I need the 4 inches. So that's where E is telling me from here to here, the bottom of the 50 is 4 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snap down a line, and it's going to be the 4 inches right to there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to highlight the line first, and then I'm going to highlight the 50. You always want to highlight your line first so it snaps it. It does it in the order in which you do it. Otherwise, you're going to move everything to the 50. So highlight that 50, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to snap it to the bottom. See how it snapped it right to the bottom? Okay, now here's the center. So now we want to put that 50 in the center, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to select the line, hold down on your shift, select the 50. Okay, once you select the 50, now we want to center it, which would be this tool right here, which would be vertical center. Now see how it centered it right there? So now our 50 is centered where it should be, 4 inches from the top, like it's showing. Optically centered, I'm not so sure just yet. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that this 50-inch, this 50-mile-an-hour speed limit sign is actually 10 inches. Okay. So what we're going to do, sometimes it's easier once they're selected. Let's just select this 50 again here. Let's get my select tool. They're hard to select because you got to get right on them. Let's not do a wireframe anymore. Let's just do the plain 50, okay? So let's highlight the 50. It's easier because now you can touch it anywhere. See how it is 10.3675? Well, we don't want, and then this is 18217. Remember that number, 18217. And we want to go 10 inches high with this because that's what it called for, was 10-inch letters. And if we go just like that, see how it's going to distort the letters? We don't want to do that. Hit Control-Z and it'll take you right back where you were. So I want to go 10 inches high, but I'm not going to do proportional. If I do proportional, it'll change the height of, or the width of it too. So I just want to go 10, and I'll hit my Enter key. Okay, now those letters are 10 inches tall, and we still maintained our width of our numbers. So now those are 10 inches tall, and what I want to do now is I want to take this line, click it, I'm going to click my 50, and I'm going to set it down right on that line. See how it set it right down? So now we know that's 10 inches high, right centered where it's supposed to be, 4 inches tall. Okay, we have no problem there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the speed in there, the word speed, okay? Same thing, it's going to come 4 inches down from the top, okay? And that's where the speed is going to be. So this is our 30-inch right here. So 4 inches there is going to be at 26. So from this line here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down 4 inches, which would be, this would be 24, 25, so that would be 26 right there. So that's 26, so that would be 4 inches from the top of the sign to right here is 4 inches. Okay, some of these lines might get a little confusing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to type in speed. Okay, it's F is for the this section here, F, 24 by 30. So it's going to be a 4-inch series E. So we're going to select our text tool, and we're going to come over here and we're going to make that 4 inches. Put 4 and hit Enter. And now we're going to type in speed. S-P-E-E-D. Okay. Go back, click your select tool, and see how it's wireframe. Wireframes are kind of hard to work with the letters because you got to select that line just perfect. So we're just going to change it to that for now. So same thing we're going to do again. We're going to select this line because this is where the top of the speed has to be. So we're select this line, hold down on your shift, hold your speed, and then we're just going to snap it to the top of that line. See how it snapped it to the top? Now we want to center it vertically. So once we got our speed centered on this line, we want to vertically center it. If you click it here, you can see how the box is. You could just shift it over and center that box right in the line like that. There we go. Now the word speed has two sections. See how it's centered here? J and J. So you have 24 by 30. J and J is 9.403, so that speed actually has to be 18.806 in length. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit our select tool, touch the speed, and don't check the proportional box. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that 18.806, and those are 4-inch letters. So we're going to make sure that those are 4-inch letters, and then hit enter. And you can see it changed it a little bit, not much. So anyways, so there we are, 18.806, and that is by adding those two 24 by 30s together. 18.806, and the 4-inch height of the letter. And it's supposed to be 4 inches from the top of the sign. The bottom of the word speed is 4 inches. So there we're set with the speed. Now we have to do limit, which is going to be F again, 24 by 30, 4-inch series E. So let's just go ahead and click our text tool, and we're going to set up 4 inches, enter, and we're going to go limit, L-I-M-I-T. And let's uncheck that wireframe and make it solid. To do that, go back to your select tool, select your limit, and click the wireframe. So now there's supposed to be a 2-inch gap between the speed. I'll show you right here. The 2-inch speed is G. The 2-inch gap between speed and limit, you can see it's G. So you follow the 24 by 30 over and see where it says 2. So it's a 2-inch gap. Okay, so now what we have to do is, what I like to do is to get that 2 inches in there exactly, I'm just going to move my limit over because we know it's going to be centered in here. Before we go through all that trouble, let's go ahead and make sure we get our limit the same exact size that it should be. And the limit, as you can see, K and K. So that limit sign has to be 14,624 in length, 4 inches high. Okay, so in order to get that 2-inch in there, let's go ahead and so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'll move this line up to the 24. I'm going to select everything here, okay? And let's just move our speed up, okay, right to there. And now we want to come down 2 inches. So let's just grab one of these lines we already have in there. There's 24, 23, and there's 22 right there. So let's just highlight that, and let's just bring that down to, see how those are right on the top of that now? You can set those exact by just hitting that line. Come down, we're going to hit our limit, and then we're just going to bring it to the top of that. And see, I just barely moved it in there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to check this limit out to make sure it's the right size that we needed. Remember, the two K's added together is going to be 14,642. So if we come up here to our select tool, we're going to touch the limit, and it's going to be 16,642. It's off a little bit. I get kind of picky about that, so I do like to get them pretty much exact. And we want to come up to 4-inch. And then as soon as we do that, we just hit enter. And there's our speed limit. You can see it change when you hit the enter, and it barely moved. You can barely see it move. But anyway, so there's our length and our height of our letter exact. That's where I like everything to be exact the way it should be. So now it said to optically center this 50. If you look at it, when they say optically center, they just mean to visually. To me, it looks like there's more gap over here than over here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight it, and then the shift keys are those like 4 little arrows that are together. And let's just kind of bump that over to where it optically looks centered. And that's pretty much like right there. So there's our speed limit sign set to standards the way it should be according to the MUTCD. And always what you want to do is, okay, see, I'm off a little bit up here. So I want to, this just didn't look right to me for some reason. So somehow I got shifted this whole thing off a little bit. So what I'm going to do, see this reference line? I've got everything highlighted. I'm going to bring it back over to where it should be. Okay. And now see my speed is off a little bit. So I'm going to bring that over to the center. My limit is off a little bit. I'm going to bring those over to center. This still looks pretty good to me. It's optically centered. So now everything's centered. It looks much better now. I'm not sure how I got that off like that, but sometimes it just happens. So you always want to be careful. Always double check and check before you go ahead and you save the sign and print it out. Otherwise, sometimes you print them out, you make the whole sign, and you go, boy, those letters are off. So now everything is set to spec, and we can get rid of, we'll check this again. Let's highlight the whole thing. Okay, see my sign blank and everything is all centered here. Speed is good, limit's good, and the 50 is optically centered. We've got all of our clearances and distances here. We've already set those. So you can just start, just grab these lines, or you can just highlight them and just click the delete tool, whichever works, because we're not going to need those anymore. So what we're going to do now, touch it and see how they're all three. So we want to ungroup all of those. So now we have our border, our speed, limit, 50. They're all highlighted, and see how they're all highlighted with the red around there? That means they're all selected, and the outside border is not. The outside is our sign blank. Let's group those and go ahead and save that. Save it in your file wherever you're going to save it. And then you think, well, that's a lot of work. I have to make all those again. A little trick here is, let's go ahead and copy this. We're going to come over here and we're going to paste it. So we got our speed limit here, 50, and you go, oh, I'm going to have to go through all that trouble again to make that sign again. I need a 35 mile an hour speed limit. Not really. Just go ahead and bring your line down where the 50 is, okay? Come up here, do your text tool right in here, and just delete backspace, and then put in 35. There you go. Save it. Go ahead and make it. What I did is I went ahead and did this. File open. So here's all my speed limit signs with a 1.5 inch radius, and some of the sign blanks I have are 1.875. So I'm going to open this and see if I can find my speed limit signs here somewhere. Oh, here they are. They're awful large. Let's make them a little smaller so we can see them. So what I've done is I've created all of my speed limit signs on one thing right here. So all I have to do, if I have to make a speed limit sign now, I open up my speed limits. Since I've already got them all created, I'll just tap on the 25, send it off to the cutter. It's already got my cut lines in there because I saved them from the last time. I'll show you how I do that. But now I just, boom, ready to go. So let's get back to our other one that we had just made here. So don't think that, it's a long process of laying out signs. It's easier to lay out the signs when you have text, like you can do this, you can do narrow bridge and all that. So this little video, I'm just going to show you the speed limit sign, how I did these. And then when you go to select them from now on, see how we've just got the border and our text selected. So let's go in to the cutter. And these are 24 by 30. Let's lay that down. You see the little man here, go with here, and we're just going to lay him down on his side. And then let's go ahead and throw in some cut lines. Anybody who's weeded and stuff, you're kind of familiar with what cut lines are. It sure makes the weeding process a lot easier. So we're just going to throw these in here. And if you want to move them around a little bit, you just see how you got the little hand. If you go like that, make the little hand disappear so you can move those cut lines. And it sure makes it a lot easier. And let's throw in some more here. I'll throw in one up here. So you can see you're going to peel that out, peel that out, peel that out, peel. So it's going to look pretty good right there. I think that should be good. Send it off to your cutter, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to save this. So we close this out. We'll close out my old one here. And whenever you get the gray screen, don't panic. Just come up here and click this. So you think, okay, I got to come back a week from now, 2 days from now, a month from now, and I got to make that 50-mile-an-hour speed limit sign again. No problem. Let's come in here. Let's go to File. Let's go to Open. Let's go to our, find that sign we just made. Let's go to the desktop. And it was a 50-mile-an-hour. I think it was right here. Here we are. 50-mile-per-hour speed limit test sign. So that's the one we just made. Okay. So you come back here and you go, okay, well, I got to make that 50. Highlight your 50. Send it off to the cutter. And you've already saved it with the cut lines and everything when you exited last time. So there it is, ready to go, cut, you're done. So basically, that's a little introduction on how to lay out your own sign. You will need a good PDF. And the Flexi gets a little, it's a program that you really have to work with. It gets a little complicated. I'll try to make some more videos. I intend to make more to kind of show some more things. But let's just, try to cut this video short. Let's just make a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit sign from now. And then I'll come back later and I'll show you how to make some other shapes. I'll show you how to make octagon and stuff like that. Those are pretty hard to lay out, actually, believe it or not, to try to get them square on the page. So let's just do this for now. Let's just go ahead and make the 50 like I did. And you should be able to kind of work around and figure it out. I'll come back with some more videos. We'll make some borders. We'll make some sign blanks and borders and show you how to put the borders in and just kind of gradually, lay out your signs. It's a little, like I said, it's just something you have to work with. And I kind of work with stuff, and I'm always looking at double checking because like I said, there's probably easier ways to use Flexi, but it's kind of what works for me. And it's, like I said, it's a program I've been using for like a year now. And it's just something that I hope to get better and better at. So don't, anybody that's just getting into making their own signs and, setting up your own shop and you go, well, I got this Flexi program. The people that you buy your software from, they do offer training, and I do highly recommend getting some training classes, and then you'll have some working knowledge of how Flexi works. So anyways, I'll try to put more on for Flexi. I know I have some on for the Omega Gerber that I used to do. But anyways, if you ever get in trouble, who you can always return to. You can always turn to the Sign Man. As always, thanks for watching.